going. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Directors of Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. We'll start this meeting as we do with a call to order and a pledge to the flag. Director Clark, would you please lead us?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Clark.
You're welcome.
This open session meeting is videotaped for cablecast on Metro Cable 14, replayed on Saturday, April 26, 2014 at 1 p.m. and Monday, April 28, 2014 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. It will be also webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district's website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. I do have a speaker's information form this evening. Roger, if you'll come up and address the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Chairman. My name is Roger Mitchell, lifetime resident of this fine district. I'm here tonight with an invitation to this board, the chief and the staff. As most of you know, there's a group of us volunteers that are restoring Rio Linda's second ever fire engine, a 1927 LaFrance. And we're doing so in the confines of Rio Linda's old Station 111, certainly with the good gracious of this board and this administration. That being said, one of the recent completions we have is the pump is completely done, mounted on the chassis, and we're going to have what we call a blessing of the pump. And we're inviting the Park District, the Chamber of Commerce, the Grange, as well as this board and the chief and the administration to come on May the 17th, start time 11 a.m. We are working with the, have a call in to the chaplaincy for this district. We would like them to do that blessing for us, so we haven't received a call back, but I'm sure it's because they're busy and we'll be in contact with them. After that program, we will serve a lunch. We're not going to put a price on the lunch. We're simply going to put a fire boot out and ask that any donations towards the cost of the luncheon would be well appreciated. So with that being said, I'm prepared to answer any question that might be asked of me this evening.
Members of the board?
Good.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, directors. One thing I would mention, I would be remiss without this. In restoring this pump, it's literally back to the specifications of once it came, within 2,000 or 3 thousandths of those original specifications. That would not have been possible without two of your mechanics in your shop donating their time, help, and expertise. One who just recently retired, Mr. Harold Bowers, and another one, Mr. Scott Courtney, who is still in your employment. So you have people on your staff that are donating much time and energy in our help, and we appreciate that very much, and thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, members of the board, we'd like to get the consent items out of the way, and then I don't believe the attorneys are here yet, so what we'll do is we'll get consent out of the way, and then we'll begin our action item discussions, and then at some point we'll move into closed session as soon as the attorneys get here. And Ms. McFarland, I see that you're on board for the action item tonight. Would it offend you at all if during your presentation, when the attorneys get up and billing us from portal to portal, that we stop and save the taxpayer some money and then come back? Would that be okay? Okay, thank you very much. All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion on consent.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Second?
All over.
Okay. Melissa, did you get that? First and a second? Please call the roll.
Director Monk,
Aye.
Wood,
Aye.
Scheidegger,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
and Gould.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Move on to action item number 1, mid-year budget adjustment recommendations. Ms. McFarland.
Good evening, Board. Rhonda McFarland, Chief Financial Officer. I'm bringing to you an amendment to our mid-year budget that we adopted on March 27th. The recommendation for the amendment is that we adopt these two resolutions that will allow an interfund loan between the general fund and the capital facilities fund, consistent with the reimbursement resolution that this board adopted last June. That reimbursement resolution allows for the purchase of the equipment ahead of actually putting in place the lease obligation. So the equipment has been, some of it has been approved and is starting to come in, and the lease obligation will be put in place by June 30th. We'll be sending out requests for bids in the next couple weeks. We've been told by the banks that we've been in touch with that it takes about 3 weeks, so we're still on track to have it in place by June 30th. When the debt proceeds come in, there'll be a repayment of the interfund loan of $500,000 that we're requesting this evening, so there's no overall impact on the budget.
Okay. I'd like to make a public comment relative to this recommendation and action item, is that there is actually a typo that we need to correct, and that is in B. It is not the General Fund 212D, it's Capital's Facilities Fund 212D. So as a matter of public record, that has been made, and so I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Second.
Okay, I have a first and a second, and I believe that we can do these jointly, so I'm going to go back to the originator of the first motion. Would you like to have that for both resolutions, A and B?
Yes, they're all listed under one action item with
Okay.
the subsections A and B, and my intent is for both.
Okay, very good. And the second stands? Any questions or comments from members of the board? Ms. McFarland, anything else?
No, nothing else?
Okay, let's call the roll, please.
Director Monk?
Aye.
Wood?
Aye.
Scheidegger?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Kelly?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
And Gould.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Moving on, still no attorneys? Okay, let's move on to President's report. I hope that President Orzali is enjoying his time off this evening. That concludes my report. Move on to the Fire Chief's report. Chief Holbrook.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board. I have a few items tonight. It is with deep regret that I inform you of the passing of Joe Richardson. He is the owner of Richardson's and Company, a longtime company that has handled the financial audits for this district. It is also with deep regret I inform you of a very close call for one of our own. The Ostin family suffered two near-fatal injuries in a vehicle accident while they were on vacation in Southern California. I would like to report to you, though, that while his youngest daughter was life-flighted into Fresno with Matt in attendance, it was Fresno firefighters that stood up and brought his wife, the rest of his family, his trailer, brought their own trailer for his family to stay in for his time in Fresno, literally brought up to and including socks and underwear, so that he could stay with his daughter 24 hours a day. She has since been transferred to UC Davis here in Sacramento and is doing exceptionally well. Considering the way it started, I cannot tell you, and I spoke with Matt at length last night, I can't tell you how happy he is with Fire Service family and all the support he's been shown. A couple of meetings in the last month. We had the Fire Mechanics Academy March 31st through April 4th. The Board of Directors Strategic Planning Workshop on the 3rd. Staff attended the FDAC conference, the 10th through the 12th of this month. On the 17th, I attended the Sacramento Taxpayers Association dinner. On the 18th, myself and Larry Davis attended Rancho Cordova Community Council. And this Tuesday through tonight, actually, CAL FIRE incident management teams were exercised in the simulation facility. We will make a presentation to the board on the 8th of May of what that entailed. Frankly, you would not believe what your board chambers looked like about 2 hours ago, so it was pretty impressive. Upcoming meetings, we have a preliminary budget meeting on Monday for the 14-15 fiscal year. And cap to cap, Directors Jones, Kelly, and Pearson will join Deputy Chief Cockrum, myself, and Larry Davis in Washington, D.C. to do great things. New hires on April the 1st, accounting technician Doreen Skaggs joined the Metro Fire family. We do have 3 retirements this month. February 14th, John Chamness. April 1st, firefighter Chris Haben, and April the 5th, firefighter Ken Medeiros. On an interesting twist, we just finished the 2014 engineers exam. The eligibility list was 15 long, and as of the 18th of April, all 15 have been promoted. So with that, I would like to congratulate Jeff Gibney, Americ Hayden, Tim Eisert, Tyler Smith, Pete Votava, David Carrillo, Adam Schwartz, Eric Berg, Justin Halleck, Michael Lowry, Matthew Crooks, David Reed, Mark Schreck, Kenneth Greenberg, and Kevin Summers for a job well done. They were all promoted to engineer in a great showing. I believe 12 of the 15 actually showed up for the ceremony. 3 were unavailable. And so that is a great thing. We will retest for engineer as we have no list anymore. And recruitment. The reserve firefighter recruitment has gone out. That is a continuous recruitment with no final filing date, and we're very happy about that and getting that program up and running at your direction. With that, that is the end of my report.
Chief Holbrook, ops report.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Directors, Chief Holbrook. My name is Darren Taylor. I'm an Assistant Chief of Operations. I'm here tonight to give you Metro Fire's operational report since our last board meeting, which I believe was on March 27th. Since then, Metro Fire has responded to a total of 6,493 calls. We've had 20 working structure fires. We've had 2,683 EMS calls with 1,994 transports with a 74% rate of transporting on that. Our partners in the EMS world, AMR, thank you, have had 5 dispatches with 3 transports with 60%. Our crews have attended and have been a part of 41 public education and community events, and they have recorded a total of 9,918 training hours. That's since our last meeting. I'm also proud to report, in conjunction with our PIO, Michelle, and San Juan Unified School District, helping the American Heart Association, we are going to be doing a thing for the next open house at the fire station. It's called In Your Firehouse, as the directors have seen. It is on May 17th, Saturday, which is the same day that Captain Mitchell was discussing. It's going to be at Station 21 between 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and what they are pushing out now from the American Heart Association is basically called sidewalk CPR, and it's a hands-on only CPR. So they're going to be doing that. The day before, Michelle's hoping to put out a media challenge to get the media outlets there to teach them the hands-on or the hands-only sidewalk CPR, and then encourage them to air the story on the 21st of the teaching that's going to be going on there. Some of the other tips that they will be discussing there at 21 with the public is water safety. They're going to be showing parents how to do life jacket fitting. They'll be discussing the smoke alarms, and they're going to be showing some fire extinguisher training. To keep the families entertained while they're going through their segments of their teaching, these troops at 21 will be doing a rappelling and rescue from the tower, and they'll be showing them some vehicle extrication and how we get folks out of the vehicles. So we're very proud to say that we're offering that, and it's in concert with the EMS week, which is May 18th through May 24th. And last but not least, for those who might not have had the opportunity to see the story of our crews that responded to the drowning, the story that aired on Channel 10, I'm going to give you the opportunity to be able to see the video now, and we're very proud to actually show that. She's got me.
Glass door, it was open just far enough, just enough to allow 3-year-old Mason Johnson to fall into the family's pool. That family is sharing their pain, their pool safety mistake, hoping that we'll all learn from it. But as News 10's Nick Monticelli reports tonight, what we are learning is really about the value of life and who's a part of it.
It can happen in a split second, but that split second can take the things we care the most about.
We noticed that it got quiet. We didn't hear the fork, we didn't hear wrestling around.
About a month ago, that second put 3-year-old Mason 3 feet underwater.
We ran to the pool, and discovered him at the bottom of the pool, face down.
Okay, is he bleeding?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some instructions, okay? I'm gonna give you some instructions.
I begged them. I said, can you please, please don't give up on my son. Please, I'm begging you, I can't lose my son. And he looked right at me and he said, ma'am, I'm doing everything I can.
I don't even know how to describe it. He was so cold and just limp and pale, and he had no heartbeat. He wasn't breathing at all. He's just better than dead.
Mike Minion worked on Mason in the back of the ambulance all the way to the hospital. A month later, the same firefighters and paramedics are still going wherever they're needed. But their next call, they're a little more anxious about.
This is the first that has, come to a conclusion like this.
A conclusion like this, that's firefighter talk for a very happy ending.
Hi, Mason.
Mason miraculously survived. And with a toy engine in hand, the men and the little man met for the first time.
Hi, it's Eric.
How are you? They saved my son's life. I will never forget them doing chest compressions on my son for 22 minutes. It was so scary.
Mason spent 29 days at UC Davis, more than half of it on life support. Expecting severe brain damage, no one thought he would survive.
Remember the first time I came out and saw him? Talking about now, it's goosebumps.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
I remembered the look on Mason's mother's, face and the panic in her eyes when we were going to the hospital. And there hasn't been a day since the accident that I haven't thought about Mason. We can really hang out.
Mason still has a long road to recovery with speech, feeding, and physical therapy starting now. But the point is that he has the chance to recover, thanks in part to these guys.
We're getting wet.
I was the parent that said, oh, that would never happen to me. And it happened so fast.
Well, it's not very often you see firefighters cry, but that's exactly what was happening today. I was one of them just bawling up on the side of the road there. They don't like to be called heroes, but I'm not going to go on a limb here. It's not that hard to call them that. That's what they really are day in and day out. And you got to give some credit to Crumb Crunchers. They are a company based in Eldorado Hills that will be providing a free fence around their pool.
Yeah, I want to thank the family for sharing that story. We wish Mason the best, and it's good to know that he does have the chance to improve, because sometimes even kids who survive don't really have that chance. They're changed forever, but it just shows you can't take your eyes off your kids around the pool for just a second.
No, never. He's got a very long road to recovery. They don't know if he's ever going to be 100%, but even that is better than being dead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You did a great job, guys.
So as all of you know, as I say pretty much every board meeting, the men and women out there never know what they're going to every time those tones go off. And as I say every single time, that's why I'm so unbelievably proud of them. So if there's any questions for me, none. I hope all of you have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Taylor. Appreciate that. Moving on, we have a representative from the local. Anyone? Sir?
I think the attorney's gonna go too.
Yeah, you just have to wait now. Colin, you're going to wait. What happens when you're late?
Good evening, Mike McGoldrick, Director, Local 522. Couple things. We would like to thank the administration and the training division for an opportunity extended to our members for a officers boot camp this week located at Station 50 to equip them with the tools necessary to be successful in promotions. I'd also like to publicly thank two other locals. One of our members, an engineer at Station 54. His family was involved in a devastating accident on a off-highway vehicle. And I'd like to thank San Luis Firefighters Local 3523 and Fresno City Firefighters Local 753 for going above and beyond to help the family mitigate those circumstances. Also, I'd like to publicly invite everybody to attend an upcoming event for the Firefighters Burn Institute. It's the Tropical Affair. I'm not sure if any of you were able to attend last year, but it's scheduled to be June 28th. And it is turning out to be an excellent fundraiser for the Burn Foundation. That sums up the report. If there's any questions.
Questions, folks? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your report. We'll move on to committee and delegate reports. The executive committee has no report. Communications Center, JPA, Chief Cockrum.
No report. Our next meeting is May 8th here.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, California Rescue and Fire Training, JPA, Director Kelly.
Mr. Chairman, since I last reported out, we have not met. We will meet again on June 12th.
Thank you, Director Kelly. Director Jones, Finance.
Thank you. Next meeting, May 8th, 5 p.m. at this location.
Thank you very much. Jack, would you like to report out on what we did at the Policy Committee?
The Policy Committee reviewed and approved, made a couple of recommendations concerning some changes in bidding processes and thresholds for securing bids, and those will go on to the board, I believe, in May.
I believe they'll be forwarded in the next regularly scheduled full
May.
board meeting.
May 8th, yes, next meeting.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and suspend board members' questions and comments. Sometimes they can be lengthy. And we'll go into closed session and let the rest of you folks go home so that you can enjoy your families this evening. And with that, we'll suspend this open session to go into closed session. Thank you very much. I expect to see none of you here when we come back. Go see your families. All right, thank you very much. We'll reconvene open session, and Council Lavra, will you report out?
Yes, thank you, Director Gould. The board met in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 to consider two workers' compensation claims that were pending with respect to settlement authority. The first is Shaney Cornell in the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. The board voted to approve the settlement. And the second, in the case of employee Glenn Hustis and the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District, the board voted to approve that workers' compensation settlement.
Thank you, Council Lavra. We'll now move on to board members' questions and comments, and we'll start with, how about we start with Director Monk?
Congratulations to everybody that made it through retirement and the people got promoted behind them. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Director Jones.
Looking forward to attending Cap to Cap with senior staff and fellow directors. And I think we're going to be Metro will again be well represented, and interests of the community and public safety in our area will be pushed.
Thank you, Director Jones. Director Wood.
Like Director Monk said, congratulations to the retirees and the promotions, those being promoted. Also, Roger Mitchell, thank you for all your hard work and the people that work with you in getting that old engine in the station back up in shape. So appreciate that.
Thank you, Director Wood.
The ride on it.
All right, Director Kelly.
Yes, I would like to offer my condolences to the Richardson family. I would also like to offer my best wishes to the Osteen family. And thank you to the firefighters in Fresno, California for coming to their aid and offering their friendship in that tragedy. And I would also like to remark that of the transports, 1,194, one of them was for my brother-in-law, who found himself wanting to, he and my sister are avid bicyclists. They were at Hagen Park, used the facilities at Hagen Park. I say the facilities, that little block room with bathrooms in it. And they are coming around the pond, working their way back up to the bike trail. And a gentleman is fishing in the pond from way back on the lawn with his line crossing the pond. So my sister gets caught up in it, and then my brother-in-law kind of runs into her back. They both fall over. He falls on her pedal and ends up with a collapsed lung and 2 broken ribs on Easter Day. But Chris Silas, I'm correct? Seiler. Chris Seiler was a battalion chief that I saw at the hospital. I believe it was Medic 65, a young guy named Daniel Sullivan was on it. And I appreciate the good care that they provided. And it was a while before I could get to my sister, and the guys on the engine stayed with her and made sure that, you know, she was safe while her husband was being transported. But nothing but glowing reports from both my sister and her husband regarding the treatment they got at Metro Fire. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Kelly. Next, how about Director Scheidegger?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have to acknowledge the story about Mason Johnson. It's just extraordinary. Once again illustrating the wonderful competence of our firefighters and medics. And on behalf of the community of Fair Oaks, thank you all so much for the wonderful work you did. And of course, I know you guys do this kind of stuff every day, you guys and gals. But the other thing I want to say out of that story is it's interesting that Captain Item tonight talked about the training seminar that we're going to put on May 17th. And I hope the community gets wind of that. I hope they attend, and this is a good reason why we should be doing this kind of public outreach. I've been to some of those open houses. That's a wonderful event, and it's really received well by the community. But again, more than anything, thank God for that little boy and his recovery, and really for our people and the fine job they did. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Scheidegger. Director Clark.
Mr. Chairman, I believe it's all been said, so I have no comment.
Thank you, Director. I'd like to close this evening, offering our condolences to the Richardson family and the Osteen family for quick recovery of their family members. I'd also like to offer my condolences to David and Dana Hill. They lost their son this week in Utah. You may have read about it in the media. Also, I received a comment this week and would like to encourage the new engineers to be careful as you drive very heavy pieces of apparatus throughout the streets. We've had some media reports recently of other agencies who have met with some accidents and intersections between a couple of fire departments, and obviously we want to be safe in that regard. And so to all those new engineers that stayed on the list for a nanosecond, just be careful. I know that it can get exciting to drive those things, but we have to have that due regard. That concludes my comments. Keep doing the good work, all of you, in the street and in the offices. Do the very best that we always know you do. Thank you very much, and this meeting now stands adjourned.